Saurabh, can you confirm that we are live or not? Thank you. We are live now. Sir, do I start? Dr. Sonu, sir?
Rajiv, just also update who all are on the call and on the YouTube. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I'll start. So welcome. I would like to welcome our guest of honor, speakers, panelists, and diverse participants on YouTube to this virtual dialogue in support of amendment to COTPA Act 2003. So this COTPA Act is proposed, this amendment is proposed by Government of India and is currently available on their website. So at the outset, I wish to thank Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for taking this bold and important step and coming up with a draft of the amendment of the COTPA. This COTPA, as most of you in the participants know, that is cigarette and other tobacco products, prohibition of advertisement, regulation of trade, commerce, production, supply and distribution act was formed in 2003 by our parliament to give effect to the minutes of 39 World Health Assembly. So this was founded in 2003. So as the name suggests, this objective of this act is to was to overall control this tobacco, its advertisement, trade, commerce, production, supply, and with an essence to reduce tobacco use. But there were few limitations and loopholes in COTPA, which the tobacco industry has tried using this nefarious tactics to sub-optimize the implementation of this act. And this has led to the suboptimal effect of the tobacco use situation in our country, despite a very strong tobacco control advocates and advocacy from multiple partners. So this in past also Ministry of Health and Family Welfare had made efforts to amend COTPA, but it was marred by a lot of challenges by tobacco industry. So friends, this is an opportune time to learn from the past challenges and provide a very foolproof and strong strategies so that we could be able to amend this COTPA. So this particular meeting or virtual dialogue where all the eminent speakers and panelists are there, so to support the amendment of COTPA 2003 will provide an overview about like what are these amendments and how these amendments will be useful for various aspects, be it children and women, be it human right issue, be it like tobacco endgame, which we are talking about, be it tobacco initiation, be it tobacco cessation, and overall public health. So friends, over the next 1.5 hours, you all will be listening to that panel discussion and the views of the eminent panelists about the amendment and why we should support this amendment to COTPA Act 2003. So again, I wish to welcome our eminent panelists. I think they are well-known faces, so I will not introduce them in detail. Everybody knows them. Dr. Prakash Gupta, who is the doyen of tobacco control and our all mentors. He's a mentor in tobacco control. And Dr. Rana J. Singh from the Union, Professor Ravi Mehrotra, Dr. Rakesh Gupta from Jaipur, Dr. Rakesh Gupta from Cypher Chandigarh, Dr. Deepak Mishra ji, a well-known face in non-governmental organization, Dr. Arpit Gupta, and all people who have joined in this webinar as panelists, and also some of the eminent people in tobacco control are also watching it through the YouTube. So thank you again. Over to Rajiv.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our guest of honor, Dr. Rana J. Singh, to provide the overview on CODPA Act. Welcome you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Goel. Thank you, Rajiv. First of all, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Clearly audible.
Okay, thank you very much. To start with, as I have been told that we have diverse participants in this meeting. So it will be good that if we just, before we actually start discussion on what are the sections, what are the various other provisions which need to be amended and further strengthened, it will be good that if we take them through the current legislation, that is Cigarette and Other Tobacco Products Act. Next, please. Next, please. So, what is the scope of this act? This act is applicable to all products containing tobacco in any form. For example, cigarette, cigars, charoots, bidi, hookah, gutka, pan masala containing tobacco, khani, mawa, mishri, snuff, etc. Please note, etc. So it means any other products which has not been included here, that is also part of this definition, and this has been detailed in the schedule. But if there is any doubt, I think the amendment, when it happens, that should take note of this. And current act extends to whole of India. Next, please. And now, what are the main provisions of this act? Section 4 says prohibition of smoking in a public place, which leads to smoke-free. We often use this word, smoke-free. Dhumarpan Mukt. So prohibition of smoking in public places. Section 5 says there is prohibition on advertisement of tobacco products. So TAPs, tobacco advertisement, promotion, and sponsorships. Section 6A prohibits the sale of tobacco products to and by minors. And here the age of minor is considered as 18 years and below. Then section 6B, prohibition on sale of tobacco products within radius of 100 yards of any educational institution. Next, please. In addition to, next, please, there is a section 7, which mandates that all tobacco products must have a specified health warning label on them. Then other important sections are related to section 12, which is power of entry and search in a premises, power to seize. Next, please. Now we come to just very quickly section 4, prohibition of smoking in a public place. So in an act, we often say ban on smoking at a public place, but actual word is prohibition. And in legislation, we should always use the exact words which are there in the law. So it prohibits smoking in a public place. And to implement this provision, that is section 4, there were rules which were notified on 2nd October 2008, which are called Prohibition of Smoking in Public Place Rules, May 2008. Next, please. Next, please. So very quickly, Rajiv, we have a very little time. So this act has explained what is a public place. Means any place to which public have access, whether as of right or not, and includes so many type of different public places, more than 25 types of different public places. But it also says and the like, which are visited by general public but does not include any open space. This was the original definition. So this definition is illustrative. It is not exhaustive. So many public places, so almost every public place where people visit can come into this definition. Often we discuss while enforcement activities happen, there are doubt among the enforcement officials. So there it is our role to explain them what is exactly definition of a public place. Next, please. So then came October 2008 rules, and these rules also very clearly mention and defined what is a hotel, what is a restaurant, what is an open space. So right now, just I will like to take you to open space that although auditorium, stadium, railway station, bus stop earlier they were considered as open space, but now they are all public places. Even in a railway station is a half kilometer sometimes long platform. There is a covered space where the railway station master sits, but whole platform is a part of that public place. So in that way, all these definitions have been very clearly mentioned in the rules. Next, please. So who is responsible? So law has given this responsibility of maintaining the smoke-free status of a public place to the supervisor, manager, in charge officer of the public place. And there are three things which we need to keep in mind. First of all, no person shall smoke there in any public place. Second is a board which has been specified in Schedule 2 is displayed prominently at entrance of a public place. In case there are more than one entrance at each public place, at each entry. For example, all big premises, universities, institutions, big offices, they all have sometimes many entries. At every entry, there should be a no smoking signages. And at all conspicuous places, if it is a 7-story building, at all floor, there should be no smoking signages as soon as we enter into that floor. Third provision is no ashtray, matchbox, lighter, or any other thing which facilitates smoking will be provided in the public places. So nowadays, if you find that there is an ashtray, there is a matchbox, lighter in a public place, or lying in the lobby of a hotel, these are all the violation. Even in the rooms, hotel rooms, which are not smoking rooms, it is providing these products is a violation. Next, please. Items. Next, please. So, as I mentioned, the owner, proprietor, and in charge official is responsible to ensure that all these provisions, they are obeyed, they are compliant, their public place is compliant to them. And if they do not comply, they are liable to pay fine, which is equivalent to number of individual offenses. For example, if in a restaurant 5 people are smoking, no smoking signages is not there, so these are 6 violations. So 6 violation into the fine amount, it will be imposed on the proprietor, owner, or manager of the public place. Next, please. So what kind of board we should have? So law says we should have a board which is 60 centimeter into 30 centimeter. In other words, 2 into 2 feet into 1 feet. And it should be the text, no smoking area. Smoking here is an offense. Next, please. So next, please. I just want to show. I don't want to go. No. Please, previous one. Signage. Yes. So this is a standard signage prescribed under the law. that is COTPA. No smoking area. Smoking here is an offense. 2 feet in and into 1 feet, and there is a specification. It should be a white background with black text, and this red circle, which should be roughly about 15 centimeter in diameter. So this is very much specified. Anything other than this is violation of the law. But while implementing the law, we consider other things also. Next, please. So in addition to that signage, at the entry, we also need to display a simple board where we need to mention that whom to complain if someone is smoking there. If someone is smoking in a government building, for example, Nirman Bhavan or any other building, if someone is smoking there, then whom you can complain. So name of the person, designation, his room number, contact number, and email should be mentioned there. And every premises, every building, every indoor place must have a nodal officer mentioned and identified and mentioned on this board. So this board will be at the entry of the premises. Along with that, no smoking board, which you already saw. Next, please. So, but there is a gap. As far as our framework convention on tobacco control is concerned, as far as our WHO Empower is concerned, there are gaps. That there are some exemptions which have been given in our Indian legislation. And public health says that we should not have any exemption. Any person should be protected from second-hand smoke exposure, that is passive smoking, which often people call. They should be protected all the time, everywhere. It does not mean that while we are in our office, we are protected, there is no smoking. But as soon as we enter into a public place or into a transport or into a hotel, we are exposed. Then there is no fun that your office was no smoke, you was protected there, but you had again exposure there. Because public health also says that even minimum amount of second-hand smoke exposure is also harmful. So our law has given some exemption, which is to hotels with more than 30 rooms. They can have some rooms. I am talking here as living rooms, hotel rooms where we live there. So any hotel with more than 30 rooms and any restaurant where seating capacity more than 30, and airports. Law says that they can have some designated smoking rooms or designated smoking area. So what has happened? So this is an exemption which is given, which is not as per the best practices policies of WHO and FCTC. So because of this, I think this is one area which the experts are going to discuss what to do for them. Next, please. So this is already, so in addition to that, some specification has also been given. So what kind of designated smoking area or smoking rooms should be there? But here, clear, there is a clear mention that no kind of any ventilation, any type of, even with high architectural designs, and maybe civil designs, second-hand smoke second-hand smoke is such a thing which cannot be completely eliminated. So having all those designated areas or smoking areas, often you stay in various hotels and restaurants, even in a neighboring room, someone is smoking, so you smell that someone is smoking somewhere. So in that way, these exemptions are not required, and this is one area which needs to be addressed in our amendment bill. Next, please. So what is the punishment? So this is second part which experts deal. So under section 4, punishment, it is a compoundable offense, first of all. Compoundable offense means that when someone violates, the enforcement official tells them, they pay the fine and case finishes then and there. So it is a compounding. It is a compounding of an offense. So section 4 offense is compoundable, and maximum is the fine here is up to rupees 200. If someone is smoking at a public place, or if no smoking signage is not displayed in a public place, or if ashtray and matchbox and lighters are lying in a public place, maximum penalty per offence is up to rupees 200. So penalty can be from rupees 10 to 200. It can be 100, it can be 50. So at that time, it depends on the jurisprudence and the thinking of enforcement official, that how much I need to penalize the offender. So, and as I already mentioned, if someone is violating in a public place, so hotel manager, owner, they are liable to be punished with a fine equivalent to the number of individual offences. So this is again one area where officials and our stakeholders, they feel that penalty of up to rupees 200 is not enough. In many other countries, there are high penalties. Even in countries like Scotland, there are heavy penalties of smoking in a hotel or in a public place. Next, please. Next, please. So, who are authorized official? So, this is a big list. This is a big list because smoking is one thing, or tobacco use is something which is happening everywhere. So, is it possible to authorize only few officials to address this smoking at a public place? Perhaps no. So the law has authorized many officials. First of all, every in charge or every head of a department, they are responsible for their own public places. So there is no need to discuss it in detail here, but you can, that whatever department or where you are working. So first of all, your head of department or the concerned official, they are responsible to ensure that no smoking happens in those respective public places. So whether it is transport, education, post offices, whether it is library, whether it is playgrounds. So all those officials are responsible. But three officials are responsible for every public place. So health department, because health department is a nodal agency, so district nodal officer, state nodal officer, director of health services, they are responsible for all public places. He or she can go to any public place. Similarly, in charge administration in central and state government officials. Similarly, police officials, they can also visit any public place. But all other officials, they can visit only public places of their own department or ministry. Next, please. Next. So just one thing only. No, previous one. So just to see that how we can address smoking in the rural areas. So this is one thing. These were some additional notification about authorized officer. Panchayat, in a village, Panchayat Pradhan, which you sometimes call Sarpanch or President or Pradhan. So Panchayat Pradhan and Panchayat Secretary, they are responsible to ensure that there is no smoking at public places within the village. They are also enforcement officer. They can also penalize some offender with rupees 200 or 100. So whatever is the wisdom of the officer at that time. Next, please. So very quickly, Section 5. So Section 5 is again very important aspect of our legislation, which prohibits tobacco advertisement, direct advertisement, indirect advertisement, promotional programs, and sponsoring events like sports and culture. You must be aware that until few years back, there used to be Wills Trophy, Benson and Hedges Trophy. So these were all tobacco brands. Yes, very quickly, yes. So Section 5 is very important. And it is one area which is really very, very important to discourage use of consumption of tobacco products by eliminating all forms of advertisement. Next, please. So there are some gaps here in this legislation also. One is the point of sale. So a small board has been allowed in Section 5, but that is being violated grossly by tobacco industry. how they are violating that we will discuss it later. Secondly, in pack and there is an advertisement on the tobacco package has been allowed, which is again a violation. So very quickly, Rajiv, please move to the other slides slowly, but so that pictures can be seen. So these are the scenes which you see everywhere in the films. So there are film and television rules also which prohibits any kind of such products display. So yes, please take. Yes, please continue. Continue. So these are various instances. Yes, section 6. So section 6 is about sale to and buy minus and sale around 100 yards. So here everyone feels that no sale to and buy persons below 18 years of age is something which should be increased to 21 years of age. And secondly, no sale of tobacco within 100 yards of education institution. So maybe experts will tell what are the things which need to be addressed under section 6. So this section is important to discourage initiation of tobacco use among youth and children, because you are aware, younger the age of initiation of tobacco use, more difficult it is to quit, and more chances of suffering from various severe forms of tobacco-related diseases. Next, please. Yes, so just show the figures. Yes, please take next slide. Yes, no, previous one. So such previous one. So such kind of board should be displayed at every point of sale that under 18 years of age, no tobacco products will be sold, and it is a punishable offense. Previous one. Yes, so please, next, please continue. Yes, so section 6B. Section 6B says that every educational institution should display a board which mandates that tobacco will not be sold within 100 yards of this education institution. So that 100 yard means all around that institution. So this is a board, example of a board from Delhi. And that how we can have. And who is responsible? It is a principal, headmaster, administrative officer in charge of that education facility who needs to put up this board. Next, please. So this is some example from, I think, from city of Chandigarh, and that a big board has been displayed for under section 6B. Next, please. Next, please. This is again example from city of Chandigarh. Yes. Now we come to section 7. So section 7 says that every tobacco product must display a mandatory specified or health warnings. So what is the status of that in our country? Then section 8 also mandates that in what is the manner, in which manner this warning should be displayed. And section 9, what should be the language in which specified health warning shall be expressed. So section 7, 8, 9. So these are other provisions under the CODPA. Whether some amendment is required for that, I think that we will discuss later. Next, please. So these are next, please. So these are some examples. The journey of pack warnings in our country at various stages. What kind of pack warnings we had in the past. Currently, we have 85% packet warning on both sides, out of which about 20% should be text. And that language is important, in which language it should be displayed. So these are the warnings, and we are going to have already new warnings have already been notified by Government of India. Next, please. So what are the penalties? This is again something which is being discussed under our legislation amendment, up to ₹200 fine. So is it sufficient or is it deterrent? So this is, I think, this again will be discussed. So section 5, under first offense, the penalty is up to ₹1,000 and 2 years imprisonment, and second offense up to 5,000 and 5 years.
Sir.
Section 6A, it is
Dr.
again
Rana.
₹200. Yes, please, final. Yes, it is final slide. So these are some violations. So this is just to take you through what is the current status of legislation and what kind of amendments are required to address the gaps which I also mentioned in our legislation. So thank you once again. Over to Dr. Goel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing a valuable insight and brief about various sections of CODPA. This is really helpful for our participant to understand about the legislation. Thank you again. Now I invite our guest of honor, Dr. P.C. Gupta, Director, Health Saskaria Institute of Public Health, Mumbai, for their welcome address. I welcome you, sir. So can you unmute yourself, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, Rajiv. And
Thank you, sir.
thank you, Sonu, and everybody for organizing this important webinar. And our talk is about CODPA. And let me first think or discuss what is the objective of CODPA. Why do we require a law like CODPA? We know through well-conducted research studies that are there all over the world, including very special and specific ones in India, that the tobacco use is the biggest cause of adult disease and death. So reducing or eliminating tobacco use is a big public health objective. But on the other hand, what is happening so far is that tobacco, rather than getting reduced, it is getting promoted in so many ways. And we also know that tobacco use starts in adolescent years. In childhood or adolescent year, it doesn't start after that. So there are two-pronged approach is needed. One is that we need to discourage our children from starting the tobacco use. We need to encourage those who are using tobacco currently to stop tobacco use. Now, CODPA tries to exactly address these issues by various kind of legislation. Because how do children start tobacco use? Because it is projected as a very glamorous, as a very healthful, as a very fashionable, as a very attractive kind of activity. So children tend to pick it up, influenced by all those kind of messages that they get from media, as well as their family members, as well as the friends. And those who are using tobacco are also influenced by these messages, and also social acceptability, that nobody really minds if they are using tobacco. And if there are friends, they are sharing everything, they are sharing tobacco. So what is the harm? Now, CODPA attacks at both places. Through its provision, it discourages children and adolescents to start tobacco use, to initiate tobacco use, and then it creates an atmosphere. It helps in creating an atmosphere of social unacceptability of tobacco use, so that a person who is using tobacco is like a little bit of a pariah, is not really looked up by the society members, but look down. So by adopting these kind of strategies by law, CODPA helps in reducing the tobacco use and thereby improving the public health. So the whole objective of CODPA is to improve public health, to reduce death and disease that is caused by tobacco. Already various provisions have been explained, and the various amendments and all that, I'm sure, will come during rest of the discussion, in which everybody will participate. So thank you very much. I think I will stop here. 5 minutes was the time, so I won't take more.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Sonu Goel to proceed the release of Tobacco Free Time next edition.
So I also request everyone, I will just tell about what is this Tobacco Free Times. So this Tobacco Free Times has been in this world for last around 2 years, and this is being released under Resource Center for Tobacco Control, which is a portal in PGI Chandigarh, and has been made in association with the International Union Against TB and Lung Disease, the union. So that portal is a gateway to all the information, circulars, orders about various aspects or various sections of COTPA and other way around. So it's a resource center, and it is being viewed currently by around 2.6 lakh viewers. So in less than 2 years, so the reach of this resource center has increased to around 2.6 lakh viewers. And this Tobacco Free Times is a bi-monthly edition. And every time this Tobacco Free Time has a new aspect to discuss, a special thing to discuss. And this time the Tobacco Free Times is about tobacco product waste. So it is a compendium about what is tobacco free waste, tobacco product waste, why it is, where it is generated, how much it is generated, why it is harmful for public health. And we have quotes from eminent personalities in this Tobacco Free Times. So I request all our eminent panelists, starting from Dr. Gupta, Dr. Prakash Gupta, Dr. Rana, sir, everyone can maybe keep the video on, and maybe we can say jointly release. So everyone, I think Dr. Amit, Deepak ji, Dr. Ravi has already done so, Arpit has already done. So everyone can, so release.
Release.
So we can have a, yeah, we can have a photo of everyone. I think Rajiv, we can take a photograph of, I think Ranjit ji is also there. Yeah, hello Ranjit, yeah. So Dr. Amit, can you put on your screen? Deepak ji also, can you put on your screen for some time? We want to have your photograph.
Yes, sir.
Video.
Yeah, yeah. Great, great. So Rajiv, have you clicked the photograph? So this is, in the meantime, Rajiv is clicking the photograph. I will tell you about this new look of ERCTC now, because this ERCTC was there for around 2.5 years now, and it has come up with a new look, altogether a new look, not only aesthetically, but also in terms of the contents, arrangement of the contents within the within this website. So I think the Rajiv and the entire team has worked really hard in making a new look to this particular website, and we have like every other issue, we have this time this from Rijo John, from Dr. Sunila Garg, from Sharing. So we have the about what is about the issue, as well as about the ERCTC. So I think this is briefly about this. So this is a 12-page. Is it 12-page, Rajiv?
Yes, sir. It's a
Yes.
12-page edition, and
So it's a
we will
12-page
cover
edition.
tobacco product based is a theme for this issue.
So this is the tobacco product waste. So if somebody wants to, like in the audience, somebody wants to gather information about, so everything has a reference, so can gather about this. And there are 2 pages are devoted for news, relevant news globally as well as from India. And we have also put on the last page the advertisement of our national conference on tobacco or health, which is scheduled in this September. So please, we will be circulating after this webinar. We will be circulating this to all of you, and you may also circulate this in your own networks. So,
Yes, sir.
So thank you all. So you may keep your video on, but you can switch it off also, video. So what we'll do is we will start our panel discussion. So Rajiv?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I request Dr. Sonu sir and Dr. Rakesh Gupta sir to proceed with the panel discussion and moderate the session.
Dr. Rana, I think आपकी शायद आवाज पीछे किसकी आ रही है? Okay. Yeah, yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
So, right. So thank you, Raji. So we will start with our main session for today, that is a panel discussion. So I, along with Dr. Rakesh Gupta, the president of Cypher, a non-governmental organization. So we both will be moderating this panel discussion. So we have our panelists in terms of Dr. Prakash Gupta, Dr. Rakesh Gupta from Jaipur, Dr. Arpit, Dr. Ravi Mehrotra, Deepak Mishra ji, Dr. Amit, Sir Ranjit, Dr. Rana, and I think Dr. Swasti was there, but he could not join. Maybe he can join in between. So, yes. So I will be starting with a question from Dr. P.C. Gupta. Dr. Gupta, sir. So, sir, as you are aware that we are here for a virtual dialogue in support of amendment to COTPA 2003. So there are a lot of webinars which were arranged earlier. I think Deepak ji has organized a very wonderful 2 series of webinar. Similarly, Cyril has organized, and many people have organized this. So how do you think that this amended COTPA will be helpful in overall improvement of public health?
Yeah, thank you, Sonu, for this interesting question. The entire COTPA originally developed, and in fact, the whole FCTC on which it is based has been developed and designed to improve public health. Now, the COTPA, which was passed earlier, that was also designed to improve public health. And not that it has been ineffective, it has definitely helped a lot, as shown by our global adult tobacco survey results, that there have been a substantial decrease, at least in smoking, and some decrease also reduction in the prevalence of smokeless tobacco use. So COTPA has had some effect. Unfortunately, it suffered from some limitations. Some limitations due to because of the time it was passed, and because of the whatever circumstances were there, and whatever also about the knowledge base that was available at that particular time. So it is very important that looking at all those shortcomings and the experience of last 15 years, this COTPA be amended to take care of those limitations. And the amended COTPA, which has been put for public discussion, I think it does address those limitations. It overcomes them extremely well. Now, one can still have some suggestions here and there, but those will be like icing on a cake or minor suggestions. But for the body as a whole, I think the amendment takes care of the shortcomings of earlier COTPA very well. I won't go into details. I'm sure there will be other panelists who would go into the details of what were the shortcomings and how the new version has addressed those shortcomings. So thank you, Sonu.
Thank you, sir. I think you have wonderfully answered this question, that the newer act or the amended COTPA will be really useful if we want to promote the public health of the citizens of our country. So you have nicely explained, sir. So just want to ask another question from Professor Ravi Mehrotra. So Professor Ravi, because you have been working in cancer control and various other non-communicable diseases for quite some time, and you had been directors of eminent institutions of the country. So how do you perceive the impact of amended law on various non-communicable diseases? Because this incidence is rising in our country as in other countries also. So how do you think that this amendments in the law will help in containing the non-communicable diseases?
Yeah, thank you, Sonu. I think you've hit a nail on the head in the sense a very recent survey of NCDs in India was released by our colleagues at ICMR NCDIR just last week. And they have confirmed that practically 65% of all deaths in the country now are NCD. We expected this, but having survey results to prove it is actually helpful. So obviously nearly 2/3, I would say, are related to common NCDs, including cardiovascular, diabetes, and obviously cancer and stroke. Of these four, nearly three, that is cardiovascular, cancer, and stroke, are related to tobacco. And when we talk about India, when we mention tobacco, we obviously don't talk about only smoking cigarettes. Our issue, as you well know, nearly 70% is related to smokeless tobacco in all its forms. So there's one issue which I found in nearly all the proposed amendments, that smokeless tobacco is not really given the same kind of emphasis. Even in the what Dr. Rana was talking about, the boards, for example, which are mandatory in schools and various public places, they talk about smoking. But I know there are various efforts to include tobacco in all its forms, but I think that would be very helpful in the long run. The second point I wanted to make was, as far as the NCDs are concerned, if the punitive action, that is the proposed increase in the fines, if it is actually not only implemented, proposed in the law, but also implemented appropriately, will result in decrease in tobacco use, at least in public places. Our problem is that the amounts that were charged, as it is, there were very few challan that were made, and that those were made were actually very, very small. A sum of 200 rupees, I think now most people who can afford to buy a cigarette packet or buy large quantities of smokeless, they can easily pay. So it has been compared to you trying to run orange light, for example. The chances are that you will get through without any penalty. You will not meet an accident on the road. Similarly, because the implementation of the existing laws is really not optimal, so I think more and more emphasis has to be given on implementation of the law, in addition to changing the laws to make it stricter punitive acts. I hope that gives you a very brief answer about where I see the amended laws and NCDs to be effective. Thank you.
No, sir, you have very nicely explained, I think, through the recent evidence that this amended law will really reduce the incidence. We can predict the reduced incidence of non-communicable diseases, because you have rightly pointed out that the three major non-communicable diseases which are currently highly prevalent are due to tobacco use. And if we can't reduce the tobacco use, and that is only possible with the strict law, strict not only in terms of act, but also implementation of that act without any loopholes, so as to reduce tobacco use and ultimately to reduce the non-communicable disease. So very well spoken. Now Dr. Rakesh Gupta will ask next two questions.
Thank you, Dr. Sonu. So I think this question can be directed to Ranjit and Dr. Amit. So Dr. Amit, can you tell us about, elaborate about the human right perspective in tobacco control after amendment of the Act? And should this issue be included in the COTPA itself? And both of you can answer any specific changes in various sections you can propose. So Dr. Amit and Ranjit.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Thank you for bringing up, I think, one of the most important aspect of these amendments. As we all know that tobacco use is killing more than 13.5 lakh Indians every year. So, which means that it is killing people, which means right to life of several thousand people, is going every day in the country. I think the preamble of the proposed amendment act or the bill now should put Article 21, saying that this proposed amendments are not only to meet the objectives under Article 47, which they mention already, the previous act, but I think to mention also that it is to safeguard the life of people, and Article 21 could be mentioned in that. And I think other human rights conventions should also be mentioned, the UDHR and others, saying that it is important to meet the objectives which are there. And right to health as the highest, right to attain the highest standard of health is again another fundamental right which is found in all the international treaties, and it is well established. So I think that can also be mentioned in the proposed amendments, and I hope that these suggestions will find way to the government, and when the government is actually finally proposing the amendments to the parliament, or sending the bill to the parliament, it will include these provisions in the preamble of the text.
Thank you, Dr. Amit.
I don't think that there could be any specific provision in the proposed law. Like I'm not sure, but Ranjit can throw more light that if we can add any provision specifically on tobacco as human rights and doing something on that. But I think preamble is very right place where we can actually put this as our visionary statement by the government of India and the Ministry of Health. Yeah.
Thank you, Ranjit ji. So what will you say about this?
Yeah. Basically, so this entire act has come into effect since 2003 with the background of human right approach. So we had enough data to say that tobacco use is in violation of human rights, and therefore this act initially came into effect. Now, what has happened is that over the years we have found that there are certain gaps, and also we found that there are certain shortcomings which with the prevalent times. So this act, the Amendment Act, has tried to address most of those issues. So, like a human right of a non-smoker, that was not being protected completely. But with this amendment, when the designated smoking area has been proposed to be removed, you will have a non-smoker, like Amit says, his right to life would be protected completely, and therefore that's one major thing in support of human rights of the non-smoker. The other thing is that obviously point of sale advertisement has been proposed to be removed. Then the age, going on to a tobacco-free generation, the age is proposed to be increased from 18 to 21 years. The easy accessibility of tobacco products, which is making minors very vulnerable, has been addressed by banning sale of loose cigarettes and loose tobacco products. The illicit tobacco product has also been, there's a specific provision on illicit tobacco products has been addressed and banned, and licensing provisions have been included with respect to that there should be licensing, and penalty has been increased manifold. So something which we discussed a lot about outdated penalties like up to 200. Now you have 2,000 rupees fine for violation of smoking in public place. But what I feel is that something which we need to understand is that this amendment has been has kept two main provision of this amendment has been is that to protect minors. So suddenly, where you had fun, firstly they have increased the age. So the focus is on future generation, and they have increased the age, and they've made the penalty very strong. So now you have equivalent to JJ Act, 7 years imprisonment and 1 lakh rupees fine. So that's a major leap as far as protection of future generation is concerned. The other issue is like Mehrotra said, rightly said that smokeless was, somehow was given a stepmotherly treatment under previous proposals and all. In this case, you have some two specific provision, which is very wide impact. So what used to happen that we have tried to ban smokeless tobacco under different laws, and every time this act used to come in the way saying, this act regulates and therefore, and there are judgments after judgment, Supreme Court. But here a specific provision is added in this act, which says that if any act bans any tobacco products, that act would have primacy or would prevail over COTPA. So that is going towards complete eradication. So this act recognizes if there is a proposal to completely do away with tobacco products, that would prevail. So even if tomorrow you have a state act banning it, that would prevail also. So these are some major this thing about firstly protections of non-smokers' right, saving the future generation, and effective implementation of existing provision. So all this with aligned with what FCTC is saying, that has been included in the preamble. So overall, this would make the human, protection of human rights much more, stronger. And therefore, I mean, you can have certain changes if you, require, like CSR has not been included, visible display has not been included, content regulation and flavoring has not come out very strongly in the proposed amendment. So these are certain suggestions you can give, but by and large, I think they've, in the difficult circumstances, they've tried their best to include most of the amendments that we were discussing for so many years.
Yeah. So thank you, Ranjitji and Dr. Amit. So as you say, human right perspective has been taken care of by most of the amendments in the COTPA. So indirectly that will be taken care of. And about any specific changes in various sections, as you have also suggested. So you can send through mail also if you have any specific suggestions in mind. And thanks a lot. So, Dr. Sonu, can I ask Dr. Arpit another question?
I think I just want to ask Ranjit and Dr. Amit a similar question for both of you. I think very nicely told by both of them about the specific suggestions on what can be done in this act. And I think they both are playing a very pivotal role in this amended act. So just want to ask, because people might be wondering that we are proposing amendment to the tune of like very rigorous punishments or the increase in fines from 200 to 2000 or something. So there might be some questions raised during the discussion that why so high punishments or so high fines which need to be levied. So can you cite some international good practices, like where the punishments are very high or where the fines are really high to support? And we can say in these countries, the tobacco, these things have actually worked. So Ranjitji, can you cite some of the countries, some examples?
I don't have many countries example, but I know so I have just one incident to share. In 2012, I think it was World Conference on Singapore, and we had certain journalists in our, who were with us, who used to smoke, and nobody dared to smoke in the room because on the door inside the room it was written that if you smoke, you'll have $10,000 fine. I mean, that was, it put the shivers down their spine, saying that even if we are caught with the cigarettes, we can. So they never, throughout the trip, they never thought of. So I think Singapore is one example where penalty is very high, and it does make an impact. If it's just like your, motor vehicle. This thing, since the time they have increased the penalty, now everybody putting seat belts and things. So I think,
Right. Dr. Amit, do you want to add on what Ranjit is saying?
Yeah, I think that's a really, in terms of very important aspect of implementing any of the laws, because we see that several other countries, developed countries, even in European countries, and even let's say for that matter, Australia, which is one of the best example for tobacco control globally. So the penalties for violating the legislations are hefty, and because of those penalties, people, it acts as a deterrent, and they also take the tobacco control provisions seriously. So I think it is important that and I think the rationalizing these penalties by increasing the amount of fine is, I think, really a very good move by the ministry. And I think the harmonization is also important. Harmonization is also important in the respect of the existing provisions. Like you see the penalties for giving tobacco product to a minor under Juvenile Justice Act, the penalties are hefty. Now, if you prosecute someone for juvenile justice, the penalty is hefty. But the same offense under COTPA is it is a compoundable offense with 200 rupees fine. So I think that in terms of gives a very in terms of light statement of the offense. अगर आप किसी बच्चे को देते हैं और जुवेनाइल जस्टिस में प्रोसिक्यूट होते हैं तो 7 साल की जेल हो सकती है, और सेम ऑफेंस के लिए कॉटपा कहता है कि आपको सिर्फ 200 रुपए का फाइन देके आप उसको छोड़ दीजिए. So I think that I think rationalization which has been now proposed is I think really step in the right direction. And otherwise also I think when you are prosecuting someone for an offense, I think it needs to be acting as a deterrent and not just in terms of mere procedural thing to do. So I think I really agree with what Ranjit said, that increasing the penalties to a deterrent level is really a step in the right direction. And to that extent, I think the proposed amendment are in very right space.
Right. Thank you, Amitji, and thank you, Ranjitji, for this. So, Dr. Rakesh, you can go on.
Yeah, so I'd like to ask Dr. Arpit Gupta. He's a specialist in public health dentistry. And I'll just ask him how the COTPA amendments be helpful in preventing initiation of tobacco among children, women, and other vulnerable group of society. And what are your suggestions, especially since the public health dentistry is an important part, important specialty for tobacco control. So, Dr. Arpit, what are your suggestions?
Well, thank you, sir, for bringing up this very important point on this discussion. So, as far as initiation is concerned, I mean, we have seen that there are two major factors. I mean, why do children initiate, or why do some vulnerable group initiate? First and foremost is the glamour which is associated with tobacco, and that glamour is because of even though the advertisements are banned per se, but still let's say there are some loopholes with the existing COTPA Act, and there is something called as brand stretching, or there is something called as surrogate ads. But still, for reason whatever it is, we still tend to see so many advertisements, and those advertisements basically promote initiation amongst the youth and the children. Another thing about initiation is the availability, or let us say the accessibility. Whether it is about the availability of the tobacco being sold in the school or educational institutes vicinity, or let's say the availability in terms of loose cigarettes being sold loose, or let's say availability in terms of being sold to minors, or all those things. So the present amendment, the proposed amendments have very rightly addressed all these loopholes, and it has increased the area for not selling the tobacco from 100 yards to 100 meters. I mean, 100 meters is something good enough. I think it's better than 100 yards, no doubt about it. Then selling of loose cigarettes, as Dr. Ranjit and Dr. Yadav was just talking about, it was not a cognizable offense under COTPA Act, but as per these amendments, they are cognizable offenses, and there could be an imprisonment of up to 7 years. Then prohibition of sales to a person not just less than 18 years. I mean, the Act proposes it to be less than 21 years. So that is again a very good step as far as we want to prevent the initiation. Then another point I was talking about is about the promotion, then control over the point of sale advertisement. I mean, it was a big loophole in the existing Act, but the amendments are proposing better control over point of sale advertisements and promotions. So that is something which is very welcome. Then prohibition of employment of anybody less than 18 years of age in a tobacco company, in a tobacco industry per se. So again, the vulnerable group, the woman and the child, everybody is being, safeguarded to some extent. Then a hefty fine is being imposed. And apart from it, the amendments also touch about the vendor licensing, which is something which is very important. I mean, if anybody and everybody who is into tobacco selling or tobacco growing or anybody, they should have some licensing. There should be some licensing system. So I think all these ideas on all these proposals are well thought of, and we just hope that this act sees the light of the day soon and it is implemented in the same essence in which it has been drafted. So this is all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Arpit. And Dr. Sonu, I think when you send recommendations, so the viewpoint of the public health dentistry, dentist specialist should also be included. Though I think he is satisfied with whatever the amendments are proposed. So they are aligned to his way of thinking. So, so you can you can ask another question.
So I think thank you, Arpit. Thank you, Arpit, for highlighting the issue of initiation and how it is being addressed by this law. And in continuation to it, I will like to ask question to Dr. Rakesh Gupta. So, sir, you have been working on cessation for quite some long. I think it has been over 2 decades, if I'm not wrong, maybe 3 decades. You have been working for the cessation in the country. So you might have scrutinized these amendments, what amendments are proposed in this law. So how do you think that this amended law or amendments will be helpful in quitting tobacco use?
Thank you, Dr. Sonu. And I think tobacco cessation has now been addressed in a better way with the amendments in COTPA, especially in reference to Section 7, where I consider that perhaps selling the loose product in form of, say, single cigarettes, perhaps that will be now not be possible. And also the penalties have increased for both manufacturers and for selling of the tobacco products. Similarly, for the loose products. So I think that is one big impact it will eventually have for the people who cannot afford, especially the cigarette smokers. But I consider overall that COTPA is not the instrument for enhancing or strengthening the tobacco cessation as such, unless we really think beyond the suggested amendments. Like pictorial warnings, their spectrum has to increase, because unless that happens, the tobacco cessation is not going to, people are not going to get motivated for quitting tobacco. So that is one aspect which I consider has not been put into place, or maybe it's not in the purview of the COTPA as I see it. I also feel that in Section 4, where I think the designated smoking areas may get eliminated now, which is again a matter of stricter enforcement of COTPA as such. But one is that the spitting of the smokeless tobacco quid in the public places or in the workplaces, that should have come into place, which is not here in the COTPA amendment. So that is one aspect. And I consider this amendment has not included for the accountability of the enforcers, because the entire strength of the law is in the our ability to enforce the law. So if the enforcement is not there, we are not going to see the changes, especially related to the quitting. I do feel that the change in the distance in the Rule 6B from 600 yards to 100 meters will make some difference. But again, as I see it, that unless it is seen with the implementation of tobacco-free education institutions, it may not be, and also with the increase in the age of sale to the minors, we are perhaps again going to see, not going to see a big impact on tobacco cessation as such. It can also be correlated with the vendor licensing, which Dr. Arpit had said, that we need to have vendor licensing simultaneously, because then only we'll be able to remove the access of tobacco products everywhere to everybody. So I think the overall impact of COTPA amendments is indirect. It is going to definitely have an additional impact on tobacco cessation, but I think amendments have to specifically include certain things which are not existing right now. And maybe the time is very less now to perhaps propose those. And therefore, I consider that COTPA amendments as such should have a 2-yearly review for what is required to be done as in the form of amendments. And there should be a simpler process to do it rather than going through the parliamentary session, which may be very difficult. So we have waited for almost 16 years for COTPA amendments to happen. But if we take this much time for bringing in amendments, I think the amendments become little less effective versus its regular review and at a more frequent intervals. So this is my submission for enhancing tobacco cessation.
So rightly pointed, sir. I think 2 points you have really highlighted in this your discussion is that although the COTPA amendments are quite are effective, but I think something more need to be done. And second thing which you have suggested is the review mechanism. So can we have that review mechanism every 2 to 3 years so that the redundancy thing which comes over a period of time, like in terms of increasing fine or the punishments, also be taken care of, and the newer emerging things which are coming, like the newer aspects in tobacco control, also need to be considered over a period of time. And I think I was listening to, I was also going through some of your messages, which also say that why not Tobacco Product Act and why not COTPA. So I think that's really interesting that cigarette constitutes only a very minor part. And as I think other speakers have said, that I think smokeless tobacco product constitutes a major part. So why not we have the Tobacco Product Act? So wonderful, sir. I think it was a very insightful discussion on that issue. So now Yes.
Can I just say that what you have touched is a very important point. I intentionally did not touch upon it. But yes, Tobacco Products Act is a simplified way of recall. And also, please do consider adding again for accountability of enforcers. I consider the spirit of COTPA lies in enforcement. And if that is not happening, we are not going to really have the desired impact.
Right. Enforcement. I think that's a very wonderful thing, and that need to be brought into that preamble itself. So I think good one, sir. So now I think I want to ask our Deepak Mishra ji, who has been, I think, doing wonderful work in not only at the national and not only at the state level, but also in the national level. He is from SEEDS, an NGO who has been working aggressively in tobacco control in the state of Bihar and Jharkhand. So Deepak ji, just want to ask one question, like from the NGO perspective, what opportunity and challenges you foresee if this act amended, whatever the amendment is there, is being proposed or it is being done? So what are the opportunities from NGO perspective? Whether NGO will be able to benefit, like in proper implementation of COTPA, or what are the challenges which you foresee?
Sir, so I'll just talk about opportunities first. The first and foremost is the removal of DSA and DSR. As of now, we don't have any provision for the elderly people at the airport, or for the lactating mother to feed their baby at the airport, but at the same time you are giving the free space to the smokers. So it should be removed immediately, and that will be done now after this amendment. So it's a great move and it's a good opportunity. Number two, the enhancement of punishment. I mean, this compoundable punishment, spot fine from 200 to 2000. You know, बहुत सारे लोग कहते थे कि दुकानदार लोग, अरे वो तो हमको तो कंपनी वाला दे देता है पैसा, सर अब चालान काट लो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है। तो वो कंपनी वाले को अब 200 के बदले 2000 जब देना होगा, So this is a good opportunity for us. It will enhance our enforcement, and it will hope it will be very effective now. The another thing is in terms of implementation of section 5 and 7. इसको कंपाउंडेबल बनाने के बाद इस पे थोड़ा सा बेहतर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन होगा, बेहतर इन्फोर्समेंट होगा, और वी कैन गेट सम data of enforcement data on section 5 and 7 as well, because as of now, I mean, whenever we get the report from the district or from district to state or state to national level, we don't see much enforcement on 5 and 7. So ये कुछ चीजें हैं जो is a good opportunity for us, and at the same time the good thing is that now it has been this 100 yard has been changed to 100 meter, because it will be easier, because यहाँ पे अपने यहाँ तो यूनिट मीटर में ही चलता है, तो वो मार्क करने में येलो लाइन, ब्लू लाइन, रेड लाइन कैंपेन में थोड़ा it will be easier now to mark 100 meter. And the next is the enhancement of age from 18 to 21. I do see it as a opportunity also, as well as a challenge also, because the opportunity is that of course the legal age for using tobacco, I mean buying tobacco and using tobacco has been increased, but
I think Deepak ji, yes.
Shall I continue?
Yes,
because
please,
I have
Deepak
I have 2 to 3 point more to just share. So now I do see it as a challenge also, because अभी भी जो 18 years वाला मामला है, उसमें भी बहुत सारे माइनर्स हमें दिख जाते हैं बेचते हुए, दुकानों पे खरीदते हुए, and this hookah thing is very prevalent among these I mean minor people, minor students and people. तो ये थोड़ा सा एक चैलेंज होगा कि इसको और थोड़ा सा बढ़ा ही दिया गया है इसको, कैसे कर सकते हैं, इट इज रियली I mean it is my doubt कि कैसे उसको इन्फोर्स करेंगे, उसमें एक दिक्कत हो सकती है. The another thing which may create some problem in terms of this fine enhancement to 2000, because abhi bhi it should have been up to 2000, because abhi bhi up to 200 बोलने से वो दिक्कत होती है. जैसे for example if you catch hold some rickshaw puller or some lower I mean economic background people who cannot afford to give you who cannot afford to give you punishment of fine of 200 rupees. So suddenly it is 2000. So it may be the challenge for us. और सबसे important है कि जो now we are moving towards tobacco free generation. You know, हम लोग झारखंड में, हमारे यहाँ झारखंड गवर्नमेंट एक आदेश जारी कर रही है, और बल्कि उन्होंने एक निर्णय लिया है, पॉलिसी डिसीजन, कि 1 अप्रैल 2021 के बाद से जो भी नियुक्तियां होंगी, नौकरी मिलेंगे कलेक्टर सरकार में, भी लोग जो तंबाकू सेवन नहीं करने का एक वो करेंगे, अपना डिक्लेरेशन देंगे, तंबाकू सेवन करने वालों को नौकरी नहीं दी जाएगी, ऐसा उन्होंने एक निर्णय लिया है. एंड वेंडर लाइसेंसिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट, जो प्रियम्बल में थोड़ा सा टच कर रहा है, लेकिन उसको थोड़ा उसको और काम करने की जरूरत है. मुझे लगता है कि किसी तरह से अगर वो आ सकता था तो एक बहुत बड़ा एक रिवोल्यूशन आ जाता टबैको कंट्रोल प्रोग्राम में. जो बात हर फोरम पे जब कभी भी हम जाते हैं तो चर्चा होती है कि भाई इसको बंद क्यों नहीं कर देते हैं, तंबाकू को उन्मूलन क्यों नहीं होता है, जो इसका नियंत्रण की चर्चा करते हैं. तो ये झारखंड में हम लोगों ने रांची से शुरुआत हुई थी, और अब वो वायरस की तरह तकरीबन 19-20 यूएलबी में वेंडर लाइसेंसिंग का ऑर्डर इशू हो गया, और उस पर ट्रेनिंग वगैरह और कुछ काम शुरू हो गया है. So these are good thing we can see. So this is all about from my side. If anybody has any question, please.
So thank you, Deepak ji. I think you have nicely elaborated many of the sections which need to be amended. and what are the importance of these sections, along with using those as an opportunity by a non-governmental organization to further tobacco control in our country. So I think very well spoken. So my question now to Dr. Rana. So I think we all has been talking about end game of tobacco from last many years. So how this amendment in the existing act is going to help in end game of tobacco in our country? So Dr. Rana, followed by Dr. Prakash Gupta. I think this is a very important question which we always see, that end game of tobacco. So how do we foresee end game of tobacco after this amendment? Dr. Rana? Okay, so I think Dr. Rana is muted. So in the meantime, Dr. Prakash Gupta, sir, can you, Dr. Rana, I think here.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Goel. You rightly mentioned that we are discussing tobacco end game concept for the last many years. And India also had one conference on tobacco end game. So basically, what is this concept and how legislation amendment is going to help? In fact, this concept moves our thinking away from merry tobacco control. It is not, here we do not talk about routine tobacco control, but it is much more than that, where we plan for ending tobacco epidemic as a whole. And we foresee a future which is a tobacco-free future or a tobacco-free generation. So this is the concept of that tobacco end game concept. And many countries who have achieved a good level of tobacco control, now they are thinking of ending this tobacco epidemic. If they have already achieved a 5% or 10% prevalence, so it is time for them to push that out from their country. So I think, yes, even earlier WHO Director General Margaret Chan, she was also very champion of this concept of tobacco end game. And I feel that the proposals which are being given here in legislation amendment, like removing exemptions, increasing penalties, raising age to 21, no sale of tobacco products. I think this is another concept of tobacco-free generation, born after certain years, maybe after 2015, then complete prohibition of advertisements, then tobacco vendor licensing. Already Dr. Arpit mentioned very, very effective strategy if it comes through, and which will reduce the density of tobacco vendors and reduce availability and accessibility of tobacco products. Then Dr. Rakesh Gupta very rightly mentioned that enforcement is very crucial. And he mentioned about COTPA, but this is true for every legislation. Whether it is Motor Vehicle Act, we did not implement Motor Vehicle Act, and currently India is world capital of road accident deaths also. So it is very true for COTPA also that we need to see that enforcement is part of the legislation. So, and in addition to that, you see, these are all areas which need to be addressed. But some supply side measures are also very, very important to overall achieve end game. So I hope that with the strengthening of COTPA, it will bring a faster reduction. It will bring a faster reduction in tobacco use prevalence, and it should be complemented with other supply side measures, strategies, and scale up tobacco cessation. Along with the awareness generation and mass media campaigns to educate the people. So definitely, I think it will bring a faster reduction in tobacco use, and then a stage will come. Then we can say that it is not required in our country. So yes, it will definitely help in that way. Thank you very much. Over to
Thank you, Dr. Rana. So thank you, Dr. Rana. Dr. Prakash Gupta, because you had been associated with this end game strategy for since it has started. So do you want to supplement what Dr. Rana has already said?
Yes, just a little. the end game strategy, I mean, there are several strategies to achieve end game, but end game cannot come when there is a high prevalence, because we know that nicotine in tobacco is one of the most addictive substance that is known to humankind. So as long as there is a substantial proportion of the population that is using tobacco, we cannot reach end game. And what CODPA is doing is attempting to do is to reduce the prevalence. So once we have the prevalence below certain threshold, I mean, as Dr. Rana has already said, then we can think of a very viable strategy for the end game of tobacco. So right now, the entire attention and the effort is absolutely effective enforcement of CODPA for reducing prevalence as much as possible, and then we can think about specific strategy to get to the end game. Thank you very much, Sonu.
Right, sir. So I think very rightly said by Dr. Prakash Gupta and Dr. Rana that by reducing the prevalence of tobacco use in the country, we shall be able to reach that milestone of end game quite soon. So we are hoping with the suggestions of each and every panelist that we should be able to reach the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And I think this we will be also sending this a video discussion, like a 1.5 hour discussion to Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, this panel discussion, so that the questions asked in this panel discussion in a different fashion, not section wise, but in terms of different aspects of tobacco control, will really help in this amended CODPA. So before we end, there are many questions, but I think all these questions will, I think everybody has, most of these were quite addressed in this panel discussion. But before ending, I would like to have viewpoint, just last 1 minute of what are the last line which everybody want to say, starting from, I think we can start with Ranjit ji and Amit.
Yeah, so I would, my last line would be that it's taken a long time. We have been talking about it for almost, more than 1.5 decades, about that these are the gaps that has, made implementation ineffective. Also, there were a lot of feedbacks that used to be coming from, especially Punjab about, provision of the acts not being cognizable. So all these have been, the government has made an effort to take, care of. These are something that we have been, may have been alerting or, writing to government time and again, or in our, consultation that we've had over the years, we have been pointing out that you need to do this. And maybe these are the things that have worked out to make these changes that they are proposing. All I'm saying is that it's not that it's going to be passed so easily. So 31st is just a day, technical day. After that is going to be a real challenge where they would require support and from every one of us. So we need to, like we did for electronic cigarettes, we need to constantly pitch in our support for this bill through social media, through Deepak ji is doing, great work through print media. So I would say that,
right. So I think
to see that it sees the light of the day.
Right. So thank you, Ranjit ji, and I think you have said a very nice point in the sense that it has been 1.5 decades since this law has not been amended or there is no provision. But we need to get together and use all our strength. So from our side, from the academia point of view, we will, I think we have all the support from all the academic institutions and AIM. So we will try to garner all the support. And we have already, I think, written to many of the AIMs to have support from their letter and support from them. So they are already doing. And I think, as you have rightly pointed out, from NGO sector, from academia, from research, from implementation sector. So everybody is there with you, and I think to get this act passed in effective way. Dr. Amit, do you want to add upon? Last liner.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sonu. I think the most important bit when we are going to amend, or we are going to see the amendment procedure, as it follows, is the compliance with the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. Globally, if we look at the FCTC, we included several provisions in the COTPA in 2003. But the treaty came 2 years later. It was actually adopted in 2005, and we missed some of the in terms of better ideas within the FCTC, including the 100% smoke free and 100% tax free provisions, which are now going to be there, and that will make us compliant to the international obligations, including 5.3 in terms of conflict of interests and those kind of provisions. I think those are important. Even illicit trade protocol, so we have ratified it, and within 5 years it will apply to all cigarette products, so which means in next 2 years. And for all tobacco products, they should be licensed. They should be tracked and traced properly. Every aspect of their in terms of production, manufacture, storage, transport, distribution, import, export. All of that aspect should be licensed and properly tracked and traced. Taxed and taxed.
Yeah.
So to check the illicit trade protocol. So I think this is a great leap. It's a huge development that has happened, and with the suggestions that a lot of people have given, and including the one on human rights that we talked about, or even on in terms of divestment of government money from tobacco industry, and increasing the age and all those. I think if we get these to COTPA as the new law in this year 2021, I think this would be the greatest gift for tobacco control and for advancing public health in the country.
Thank you, Dr. Amit. Thank you for your views. Dr. Arpit, last line.
So just want to say that we all know that tobacco lobby is trying their level best. We are seeing advertisements in media. We are seeing some news articles coming every day which are talking against this law. But the onus lies on us, let's say the research community, the scientific community, the NGOs, institutions, and everybody individually to support this law. And this is the right time. We still have 2 more days. I think 31st is the last day to send in our comments or suggestions or support. So it is a humble request to please send in their support. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Arpit. And I think Rajiv has put, we are putting on the YouTube. We are regularly putting on the YouTube channel there, which is being watched by many of the audience, the addresses where they need to send those suggestions. So then Deepak Mishra ji.
मैं तो सिर्फ इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि YouTube में भी बहुत सारे लोग देख रहे होंगे कि वोटिंग लाइन खुली है। जैसा कि डॉक्टर अर्पित ने बताया, वोटिंग लाइन खुली है, 31 जनवरी के 5 बजे बंद हो जाएगी। तो हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा वोट डाल सकते हैं, दे सकते हैं अपने लॉ के समर्थन में। और टोबैको लॉबी का जो स्ट्रैटेजी है उसको डिफीट करना है, और हम होंगे कामयाब। खत्म करता हूँ, मुझे सिर्फ यही लोगों को सपोर्ट कर, ताकि किसी भी तरह से, किसी भी रूप से नंबर के तौर पे भी हम पिछड़े नहीं करेंगे।
Right. So voting line खुली है. So that's the key point, and we have only 2 days left to send our suggestions. So try to send those suggestions as soon as possible, as fast as possible, as many as possible. So that is important. So Dr. Rakesh Gupta, Jaipur. हाँ जी. Sir, आपकी muted है.
So briefly, yes, vendor licensing, accountability of enforcers, review of COTPA amendments every 2 years, and addressing SLT as well through the ban on spitting should be included. Plus the use of, I think one thing which we have not said is the penalty money which we are going to collect should be used for a stronger tobacco control. I think that is what perhaps has not been included in the purview of COTPA, but I think it should come. It's the time now. because we do not have adequate human resource. We do not have other resources for mass media communication, etc. This money should
Right.
come from the fee for violation.
Right. Dr. Rana. Dr. Rana.
Yes, thank you very much. And one liner is that it is a great opportunity to show leadership. By whom? It's not only the tobacco control stakeholder, but for the government of India. It's a big opportunity for the Prime Minister, for Health Ministry. And why I am saying so? Because India has contributed immensely since the days of FCTC and other tobacco control efforts globally. So until unless we do it at our home also, so I think this will be a big opportunity for the
Right.
for the government to show leadership.
Right.
So we hope that things will be better this time. Thank you.
Right. So wonderful line said that the big opportunity to show leadership. So that is really good. So Government of India has shown leadership in the past, and I think it's another opportunity to demonstrate that leadership. So Dr. Prakash Gupta, sir.
Thank you very much, Sonu. I was thinking that right now the task that is before everybody is very important. Basically, as you say, voting lines are open, sending not only the vote of the self, but every friend, encourage every friend, every CRO professional to send their letter, their vote for this particular amendment. And this is, let me say, this is about the easiest of the task. More difficult task will be later when it will pass through Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, when there are going to be a lot of discussion and proposals for amendments and all that. So that is the time when more advocacy, more focused advocacy will be required in everything. And after it is passed, then the real work comes, how to get it. It doesn't get enforced automatically. We have very good experience. Deepak ji has very good experience, everybody else. So the work for enforcing this amended CODPA at the ground level, I think that will be the task that will really result in benefit and improvement of public health. So I think that's my take on today's discussion.
Thank you, sir. So now my co-moderator, Dr. Rakesh Gupta, who is president of CIPHER. So sir has been nodal officer for tobacco control for many years in Punjab. So, Dr. Rakesh Gupta.
Yeah. So Dr. Sonu, my last word would be that the enforcement is the bottom line, actually. So with the present provisions also, the states who were enforcing the law in a good way, they were doing good. Like in Deepak ji, they were doing good in Bihar, and in other states, he was, he was active. So, and another thing is the regular review of the CODPA, as suggested by Dr. Rakesh Gupta, because this is going to be a very tedious process. So amending the law in Lok Sabha, getting the law amended in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So I think that Government of India should consider that.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think from both of us, Dr. Rakesh Gupta and myself, so I think it was a very excellent panel discussion, which was visible by the comments and the words of appreciation, which has been received on YouTube. So for formal vote of thanks, I would like to invite Rajiv to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. It is really a wonderful discussion. So I have a great honor and privilege for the E-Resource Center for Tobacco Control, PGI Chandigarh, the Union Southeast Asia, and our partner of this program, Strategic Institute for Public Health and Research, Association for Public Social Workers, Professional Social Worker and Development Practitioners, and Integrated Association of Medical Basic and Social Scientists, IMBSS, to extend my special thanks to our eminent guest panelists who agreed to be a part of this important discussion on very short notice. on your deemed presence has facilitated the discussion to achieve its desired goal and objective and outcome. I, on behalf of entire ERCTC team and partner of the program, extend my heartiest salutations to your good self for sparing your valuable time and sharing your insight and experience with diverse audience attending this important discussion, and look forward for your support and sustenance in future endeavors. Special thanks to all the participants for showing your keen interest in this event, without which none of us would have come this far. And also request all the participants to please make sure and fill the feedback form, which include the signing the petition in support of CODPA amendment, link shared in a chat box. And also, again, feel free to reach our RCTC web portal, www.rctcpgi.org, for more information. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.
I again want to thank our panelists, our speakers, and all our participants who have glued to their YouTube channel, and I think who have listened to this wonderful discussion. And as Rajiv has said, and many other have said, not only you sign that petition, try to get at least 50 people behind you to sign that petition. So make sure that the 50 people from different, from your area, from your peers, sign that petition and read that petition and write individually as an individual capacity from your organization or as a group. So again, thank you everyone for being a part of this discussion, and thank you our panelists. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonam. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah.